In June, the left launched its No Kings protest to denounce the horrific authoritarian dictatorship of Donald Trump, deporting illegal alien gang members, preventing the mutilation of children, and punishing criminals all became proof of Trump's incipient fascism. Now that Trump has deployed National Guard troops to stop violent leftist mobs from attacking ICE officers, Democrats and the left have decided to stage a sequel on Saturday. The whole thing will look like a farce, clever signs, bad folk music, and stale slogans. But behind the clown show, the left is radicalizing shock troops, preparing them to do real violence. No myth runs deeper in American life than the idea that peaceful protest drives reform. Boomers grew up believing that singing folk songs, waving witty signs, and smoking pot were powerful tools of change. The media sanctified the calm resolve of civil rights marches and the flower child theatrics of the anti-war movement as the true engines of progress. As usual, Hollywood left out all the ugly parts. Those movements also produced riots, rapes, arsons, bombings, and murders. The violence was so widespread that Richard Nixon's 1968 campaign ran one of the most famous ads in American political history, promising to restore law and order. The peaceful demonstrators made for good television, but it was the violence that moved the needle. No one likes to say it out loud, but the violence worked. The first round of No Kings protests had a respectable turnout but achieved nothing. Leftists filled the streets to mock Trump and chant about freedom, but no policies were changed and no momentum followed. Yeah, Trump's approval rating may have slipped into the mid-40s, but Democrats are somehow even worse. They're still wallowing in the low 30s. Americans may be wary of the current situation, but the protests haven't persuaded them that the Democrats can govern. Violence, on the other hand, has been more effective. The assassination of Charlie Kirk has made conservative campus events nearly impossible. Universities now demand absurd security fees or simply cancel appearances outright, citing safety concerns. The threat doesn't come from the speakers, of course. It comes from the activists that universities officially refuse to restrain. Several conservative commentators are stepping in to finish Kirk's tour, but the assassin's veto has reshaped the landscape. Violence also brought Jimmy Kimmel back to late-night television. After he lied about Kirk's assassination, sponsors complained and two major affiliates refused to run his show. Sinclair Broadcasting even planned to air a Kirk tribute in the slot where Jimmy Kimmel usually appears. Then came bomb threats, followed by gunfire targeting an ABC station in California. Sinclair folded, scrapping the tribute and restoring Kimmel to the lineup. Terrorism works. It succeeds where boycotts fail. Mob action has also disrupted immigration enforcement. Leftists have assaulted ICE officers, blocked arrests, surrounded vehicles, and tried to plant explosives. One would-be assassin was so incompetent that he aimed for ICE agents but only killed detainees. Otherwise, we'd have a pile of dead federal agents from the hands of leftists. Trump's Justice Department has begun to crack down, but the left keeps escalating. They've learned that violence yields results. No kings, no kings, Trump is a fascist. Yeah, we get it, but it's hard to take Democrats seriously when they wail about authoritarianism. They jailed Trump officials, abortion protesters, meme makers, and even the president himself. They don't fear power, they crave it. What they hate is losing it. Organizers claim that more than 2,000 No Kings protests are set for the weekend. I'm sure many of those won't happen or will be sparsely attended, but the biggest ones will draw crowds, mostly aging boomers reliving their youth. They'll march, they'll sing, and they'll pretend to matter. But the real movement isn't in the drum circle. It's with people like Jay Jones, the Virginia Attorney General candidate who still enjoys Democratic support despite texting fantasies about murdering the children of conservatives. That's the true face of the modern left. They're not waving signs. They're plotting your demise. The No King spectacle will fill news segments and late-night monologues, but it's just camouflage. Behind it stands an organized, violent movement convinced that terror is a legitimate political tool. These people don't want debate. They want obedience, and they're willing to bleed us for it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. If you'd like to get these broadcasts as podcasts, then you need to go to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to the Auron MacIntyre Show, When you do, if you could leave a rating or review, it really helps with the algorithm magic. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter or Gab or Substack or Instagram, if you'd like to get these videos on Rumble or Odyssey, the links to do all of that are down below in the description. And of course, you can read all of my columns and watch all of my shows over at The Blaze. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll talk to you next time.